What started as a simple, laid-back evening with friends took an unexpected turn. My wife, Lena, had been invited to a casual get-together at a coworker's place. I wasn't thrilled about tagging along, but she convinced me it'd be a good time. The house hummed with lively chatter, the clink of glasses, and the warm buzz of people having fun. Lena fit right in, effortlessly commanding the room's attention with her natural charm. She had this magnetic energy, a radiance that drew everyone to her. I lingered on the sidelines, sipping my drink, making light conversation when it felt right, but mostly just watching. She shone, sharing work anecdotes that captivated her audience, her laughter rising above the noise. From my quiet corner, I admired her as I often did. She thrived in these social settings, full of wit and warmth. But then, the mood of the night changed, sparked by a seemingly innocent game. Someone proposed a round of what-if questions, playful hypotheticals about celebrity crushes and dream partners. The room filled with giggles as people shared their answers. Then, almost offhandedly, someone tossed a question at Lena, meant to be lighthearted. If you could swap your husband for any guy, who'd you pick? It was supposed to be a joke, but without hesitation or even a glance my way, Lena raised her glass, her eyes sparkling with the same ease she'd carried all night, and said with a breezy chuckle, "Oh, I'd swap my husband for him in a heartbeat." She nodded toward one of her colleagues, tall, confident, the kind of guy who knew the impact he had. The room burst into laughter. The man flashed a smug grin, toasting to the compliment, while I sat there, silent. The roar of their amusement echoed in my ears, but for me it wasn't funny. In that moment, it wasn't just a game. My wife had, in front of everyone, tossed my pride aside for a cheap laugh. Maybe she thought it was clever. Maybe she didn't think at all. But what I felt cut deeper than humor. I could feel eyes on me, some amused, expecting me to brush it off with a grin. Others curious, waiting for a reaction, maybe even an outburst. Lena, though, didn't seem to notice or care. She sipped her drink, basking in the laughter she'd sparked. That's when I realized I had two paths. I could swallow the sting, force a smile, and act like it didn't hurt, or I could speak, not out of rage, but with a truth that could hush the room. I set my glass down, stood, and in a calm, clear voice said, "That's an interesting choice, Lena. But if you can trade me so easily, maybe you never truly valued me at all." The room fell silent. The laughter vanished. The air grew thick, tense. Lena's smile froze, her glass still in hand. Faces that had been lit with amusement now looked uneasy, even ashamed. The man she pointed out shifted uncomfortably, his confidence fading, his eyes avoiding mine. I kept my tone steady, deliberate. "I came here tonight because my wife asked me to." I stayed quiet, smiled, supported her, even though I felt out of place. And in return, she thought it'd be fun to humiliate me for a laugh. Let me be clear. Marriage isn't a punchline, and a husband isn't a prop to be swapped for amusement. Respect is the foundation. Without it, everything else falls apart. Lena's face flushed. She stammered, "I didn't mean," but I raised a hand to stop her. "You meant it. You said it. You thought it'd be witty, that it'd get a reaction. And you chose me as the joke. That tells me exactly how much I matter to you." The silence was deafening. You could hear the faint hum of appliances in the kitchen. Someone cleared their throat. People shifted awkwardly, eyes fixed on the floor, the walls, anywhere but us. I looked at Lena one last time, not with anger, but with a heavy sense of disappointment, then turned to the host. "Thanks for the evening. I'll let myself out." I walked away, leaving Lena standing there, the weight of her words pressing down on her. When she came home later, her eyes were puffy from tears. She tried to explain, insisting it was just a joke, that everyone knew she didn't mean it. I didn't yell or argue. I just spoke the truth. If you can laugh about trading me away in front of others, maybe you need to ask yourself if you value me at all. Tonight, you didn't act like a partner. You acted like someone who's forgotten what respect means. She broke down, sobbing, begging for forgiveness, promising it'd never happen again. But something in me had shifted. Forgiveness might come eventually, but forgetting? Never. Words carry weight, and once they're out, they can't be undone. In the days that followed, Murmurs spread through her workplace. Some colleagues felt for me. Others shook their heads at her thoughtlessness. The man she'd named steered clear of her, unwilling to be tied to the awkwardness. The laughter she thought she'd won turned on her, cutting deeper and more painfully than she'd ever expected. I didn't need to say more or punish her. My words that night had said it all, silencing the room, silencing her and reminding everyone, including Lena, that marriage isn't a game and respect isn't optional. I don't recall the food or most of the jokes from that evening, but I'll never forget her words. I'd swap my husband for him in a heartbeat. Nor will I forget mine. Maybe you never truly valued me at all. That was the night the laughter stopped.